everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make two glittered cards using background dies. So let's get started. The first one that I'm going to use is called Floral Backgrounds. I'm also going to use the stamp set from Melissa Esplin. It's the Sentiment stamp set. And then I'm using microfine glitter, and this is from Elizabeth Crafts. So you start out by taking a piece of double-sided adhesive and you lay it out on a piece of white daisy cardstock. So this is cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then keep that protective coating paper for the adhesive, because you're going to cut your basically a stencil out of it using your background die. So you can use either side. This one I use the brown backing paper, and then the next one I'll use the white paper. So as long as there's one side that can stick to the adhesive and then you can peel it away, it works. So I've run that through my Big Shot using my die, and then I'm going to poke out all these little bitty pieces, and basically I have a stencil. Okay, and it's a stencil that will not stick to adhesive. Okay, so I'm going to peel this other side of the adhesive coating away, and so basically I have a piece of white daisy cardstock that's sticky, and I'm going to lay that stencil that I created over it. Okay, it's a little fussy, but it'll get down. And then you take your coating, the other piece of adhesive coating, and you place it over it, and then you burnish everything down using your bone folder to make sure that all of those nooks and crannies and bits of the stencil are adhered so that glitter can't scooch underneath the edges. Okay, and then you pour it over the exposed adhesive. So what I have underneath, I've created kind of my glitter box here. I have a Swiffer at the bottom, and then I'm using a coffee filter to catch the excess glitter so that I can filter it back into the jar. This controls the static and keeps the glitter from, well, it'll go everywhere anyway, but it kind of keeps it under control. And then what you do after you've sprinkled your glitter over the adhesive, you burnish it with your fingers. So you just you burnish it into the adhesive, and it'll kind of take on a life. It'll get bright and more glittery. And after you're done with that, you can peel away your stencil. So now I've got more exposed adhesive. Okay, so I'm going to take another color and I'm going to sprinkle that color over everything. So you're going to have the design of your die, but everything is going to be flat. I love this technique. So I'm going to sprinkle that color over, and then I'm just going to brush away some excess, filter the excess back into the jar, and then I'll burnish the new color. And it takes a while, but it's totally worth the time, because look at how cool that looks. It's in real life, it's really a wow technique. I'll have some close-up shots after we're done assembling the card, and hopefully that will show how cool this looks. Okay, so I have a piece of mix-in paper, and I'm going to try not to cover up too much of that glittered background. And then I have a piece of mint cardstock, and I'm going to stamp out "Thank You" in peacock ink. And then I'll die cut this using the stitched scalloped brackets. So I'm going to bring in my Big Shot And I'm going to use the smaller bracket on that. Thank you sentiment. It just fits. Okay. So I'm going to hold it down with some purple tape so it doesn't move and run it on through. So these supplies, with the exception of the microfine glitter, are available currently in my online store. The background dyes are in the, actually all of the thin cuts are part of the core catalog. So this mix-in paper, I'm going to trim it at 3/4 of an inch by 4 1/4. I'm going to keep my card design simple to show off that background glitter. So I found that it's easier to put your adhesive on your card base first and then attach the glittered panel to it. It's opposite of how I usually assemble my cards, so it's a little bit different, but it keeps the glitter under control, and then you don't have to flip your panel over and press down on it. So just makes things a little bit easier. So I'm going to put that piece of mix-in paper down with Tombow, and then I'll pop my sentiment with some foam tape. And then the last step, I'm going to put some pearls, and I was thinking maybe bluebell, but the colors didn't coordinate, so I'm just going to use the white pearls and scatter a bunch of those around. You'll get more of the design if you choose even more contrasting colors, and you'll see that in my next card. Okay, there's my finished card. Look at all that glitter, and it's all flat. Looks so cool. It's a fun technique to do. Okay, so let's make another one. Now this next one is the heart background die, and then I'm going to use a stamp. It's a retired M-size stamp that says Happy Mother's Day. And then I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to run the piece of adhesive protective coating sheet through my Big Shot with the die to create my stencil. And once you've created these stencils, you can just keep them in and use them over again. So I'm going to run that through, and then all of the little hearts from this background die, they come out super easy. So poke all those out, and then we have our stencil. And then I'll peel off the adhesive coating and hold on to that. And then I'll put my stencil down on top of that exposed adhesive. And then I'll bring my coating paper back in and kind of burnish everything with my bone folder. Okay, so now I'm going to bring my glitter box back in. Make sure I have a clean coffee filter. And then I'm going to sprinkle some white glitter in these openings. When you're using white glitter, make sure you start with it so that you don't contaminate it with other colors of glitter. It's very easy to get little bits of other colors mixed in, so you have to work a little harder to keep that white glitter pristine. So I'll filter the excess back into the jar, and then I'm going to burnish that white glitter into the adhesive. Brush off any excess. Okay. All right, so my next color is going to be red. So I'm going to pull my stencil off and then expose the rest of the adhesive. And then I'm going to pour the red glitter over everything. Okay. So just make sure that I've got everything covered, and then I'll filter the excess back into the jar. And at this point, I should have kept my glitter box there. I don't know what I was thinking, but I put it aside, and now I'm just using my Versamat and my microfiber cleaning cloth to clean everything up. So anyway, if you try this, keep that glitter box. It keeps things under control. You don't get as much of a mess. So I burnished the red into the adhesive. And now I'm ready to start building the card. Okay. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment out on the light side of ballerina using raspberry ink. And then I'll bring my Big Shot in. So I'm going to cut my sentiment out using the scalloped circle thin cut. I'll run that through. It's going to basically be the same design as the other card. And I have a piece of raspberry cardstock cut at 3/4 of an inch by 4 1/4. So I'm gonna put adhesive down on my card base and then put my glittered panel on top of that. And I'll add the raspberry. And then I'll pop that scalloped circle with foam tape. And then the last step, I'm going to bring in some of these pink crystals from PinkFresh Studios, and I'm just going to scatter a whole bunch of those around. Add some extra bling because I can. And there's my finished card. So cool. Bright and glittery. Such a cool effect. So I appreciate you watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. And thanks for watching.